Voltron Network.
We are recording. What's good, guys? Welcome back to Talking at the Movies from Voltron Network. I'm Ed Reese Antonio.
And it's Mo.
That side. Hey, this is going to be a short one, guys, but we figured we ain't going to, unlike the week 2 weeks ago when there wasn't much news, so we figured we'll just let it slide by. We figured we'll give you something, you know. It doesn't feel right sometimes just to leave those empty weeks. You know what I'm saying, Mo?
Oh, absolutely. It was better to deliver a half an hour of shit than no shit at all.
Exactly. That's the perfect way to put it. So, good. Mo, how you been?
I have been great, right? The weather is great. It's shorts and t-shirt wearing times. You know, you can have the window open.
I know, but I want to have barbecues. I want to party. I want to run around naked in the streets and make love in the rain. I can't do that.
But would you actually do any of that if you had the option?
The naked part.
No.
Why not?
I know I could murder a barbecue though. I tell you what, and I am a person who obviously doesn't have my own garden where I can just go and have a impromptu barbecue.
But you got.
But there's nothing stopping you from going in your garden and doing a barbecue.
I don't want to be the one actual barbecuing though. I want someone to do it for me. I only like the later half of the barbecue and to eat the food, not actually.
No, barbecuing is like a man's job, right? That's like you pound the meat and marinate your meat and then you grill your meat and then you eat your meat.
Nah, I'm not a cook. I'm not like you, Mo.
No.
I don't have that culinary touch.
Don't make like your own homemade potato salad.
You were supposed to teach me something. I was actually, before all of this hit, I actually wanted you to actually show me how to make a curry or something.
Yeah, right. We could do that over Zoom, man.
Ain't the same.
It's the same. Because then I can have my bit in the kitchen, you have your bit in the kitchen, and you just follow what I'm doing.
Yeah, maybe. So, what have you been watching?
What have I been watching? Right, so let me start off with an absolute cracker of a classic movie that dropped through my mailbox earlier this week.
Operation Condor. Armor of God sequel, which I love. I prefer the tone of Armor of God, Operation. No, it's a fun film, but I'm saying tonally, I like the tone of the first film, but I still enjoy this one. It's still fun.
This is like beat to beat perfect. I remember I did an overview of Armor of God a couple of weeks ago, and I found that it kind of like dragged, and all the set pieces and the action pieces were all sort of like front and back loaded, and it wasn't really much in the middle. This is perfect. There's like an action scene like every sort of 10-15 minutes, and in between there is some funny stuff between Jackie and like the women that are on with it. Yeah. And there's the third one at the end. Yeah.
Like when they're running around the hotel.
Superb. That hotel piece is just spectacular because it just goes on and on and on, right? But it is just beautiful. The whole thing that just starts off like after dinner in the room, and it works its way outside the hotel. And eventually it culminates with that woman getting the gun and just shooting the living hell out of everything.
Yeah. I do. It was a fun film. This is the one where they uncover the old Nazi
gold
thing at the end. Yeah. And they're in the wind tunnel. Yeah. There's a wind tunnel thing where he's fighting against
the wind tunnel bit. That's the bit. That's the only bit that I really remembered when I was thinking about this film, because it's the wind tunnel bit, right? Because that's quite unique for all of his films. I would say Police Story 1, Dragons Forever, Operation Condor. Those I think are like the top tier Jackie Chan movies.
Okay, so what has the print? What is this? 88 films.
It's 88 films. It's absolutely gorgeous. There are 2 cuts on here. So there's the original Hong Kong cut that you would have seen back in the day. It's got the classic dub. I've got to say I did watch it using the classic dub, but there is also an extended Japanese cut. And some people have been dissecting this cut, and they reckon it's even more extended than the extended Japanese cut. But mostly it's just like some real additional pieces to existing scenes. So it's not like whole new scenes like Heart of Dragon. It's just like, like how sometimes when you watch like deleted scenes, sometimes it's like it's the same scene, but it's just they've cut bits out of it.
It's a little added dialogue.
Yeah.
Don't talk to me unless it's another added fight scene that we didn't get to see before. Unless Okay, you'd be actually a good one to keep an eye out for this. If you ever hear about, is it Wong Kar Wai or Wong Kar Wong's? He's the Grandmaster. If you ever hear about a special extended edition of that movie ever coming out, you got to call me straight away because I want that.
So talking of him, yesterday it was announced on some distributor's Facebook page. I can't remember the name of the company. They are doing a 4K box set of his films.
Ooh.
And this is like, it's going to be a limited edition release, right? So I remember reading the guys go, it's a 4K box set, so it's quite rare still for Asian movies. They go, it's like it's by a director that's quite cult, so it's going to be a really difficult box set to get hold of.
Oh, that is true, and it's going to be bloody expensive as well.
It's going to be expensive, and it's going to be limited as well. And they're not selling them separately, so they go like, they bundle them all together. They can charge like a reasonably good price for it, right? But I will be keeping an eye out for that.
As soon as you hear,
yeah.
I'm not guaranteeing I'm going to want it, depending on how much it costs. But yeah, we know what's in it, how it looks,
yeah,
and when it goes on sale. Keep me posted. Yeah, right. You've never seen his films, have you? Though
I've seen some of them. I've seen like Chungking Express. I've seen 2046. Is it?
Yeah.
In the Mood for Love.
Yeah.
Okay. So I've seen a few of those.
Okay.
Yeah.
Crazy. So, what's the difference between, like, is it because don't they have the same guy doing the covers for the 88 films ones and the Eureka? Is it a different?
No. So the guy doing the 88 covers. So he's done The Protector, Miracles, Crime Story, Dragons Forever. This one, I'm sure I must be forgetting some, but the artwork that he does is just absolutely spectacular. And it's there's a guy called Kung Fu Bob.
But is he doing stuff for Eureka as well? Is Eureka doing using a different?
So I don't know if he did any of the Eureka ones. I think that might have been somebody else actually, because I think I accidentally tagged him on a Eureka cover, and I think he did post saying I didn't actually do these ones.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right. So what else, Mo?
Yeah. Right. So I haven't seen these, right? But I thought I'd just show you what. This is just a small selection of what has arrived.
Oh, you're cracking up! What is going on? Internet smooth. Oh God! Why'd you buy that? Yeah, your picture's fine, but your audio's.
I want to watch this.
No.
The trailer to that looks really good. I want to watch it. It looks like a fun, like, you know, if Ethan Hawke was like on not Ethan Hawke. What's his name? Ethan
Hunt.
What's his name? 8.5. If he was on like Vacation.
You know what? I think you're gonna actually enjoy it.
Yeah.
I think it might be up your street. It's fine. It's a film that if you stumble across it, right? If you stumble across it on TV and you're watching it, then it's like, I'm not mad that I saw that.
I did get it because it was cheap, but if you were like more of a serious cinema fan, I've now got, I think, almost the full collection, right? So John Carpenter's The Prince of Darkness.
Okay.
And John Carpenter's The Fog, because I've already got They Live and Escape from New York.
All by the same
all by the same company. Yeah. So I'm looking at probably doing like a little mini marathon of like John Carpenter films.
Do you know, I was actually mad. I think he's been going around, or he was. He's still alive, isn't he? I'm sure he is, yeah.
Yeah, I think he is, yeah.
Hope he is, fingers crossed. But yeah, I hear that he was going around touring, like doing the soundtracks to his films. And I really wish I got to see him live because I love that. He's the guy that kind of created that whole electro synth sound track to movies. In terms of his were the iconic ones that everyone else tries to copy. When you think of that cyberpunk sound.
Yep, according to his IMDb page, he's still alive.
Okay, so if he does pass through London again, and we're allowed to do events. But why not? I'm thinking if Trump's doing a rally and they're packing out an arena, so if that can happen, then why can't concerts and sporting events still happen?
Well, I mean, he's not doing that. Oh, hold on. He's not really doing that event to. Oh, you've completely frozen.
No, I'm still here. I'm listening.
Are you still there?
Yeah.
Oh, your video is completely frozen at my end. So he's not really looking at the consequences of those. You know, he's likely to end up killing potentially some of his most ardent supporters.
I know, it's crazy. I don't give a fuck. No one else can gather, but I'm having a rally. Filling in not even just a small little council hall or something, or an arena. But we ain't gonna get into that. This ain't a political show. What else have you been watching, man?
So what have I actually been watching, right? As opposed to just been buying up, right? So I got the Harold and Kumar movies last week, right? And I watched Harold and Kumar Go to White Castle. Haven't seen that in years, and oh my lord, did I have a good time with this? It was just great.
Fun films. I think I did a little marathon of them a couple of years ago. So fun. Dumb,
they
but
really
fun.
are. They are dumb. They're proper dumb, and I wouldn't say that they're any sort of art house great films, but they are literally just a good time movie.
Is it the first one where they ride the Jaguar or the Panther or whatever it was?
Yeah, that is the first one where they get super high and they do that. And it's the first one's also got Ryan Reynolds in it as well. Does a little cameo as a doctor.
Shit. And is this one where Kumar has like a flashback to a relationship with a giant bag of weed?
Yeah, it's not a flashback. It's basically he finds a big bag of weed and he starts dreaming about it. Yeah.
And it gets abusive in it. I remember when I first saw that, I just crumbled in tears of laughter when I saw that.
It's such a good time, and I'll probably want to do Harold and Kumar Go to Amsterdam, and then Guantanamo Bay. Sorry, and I've also got the Christmas one as well, and I think that is like one of my favorite Christmas movies. It's just fantastic.
Jesus.
I also checked out a film I've never seen before, Easy A with Emma Stone.
Oh yeah, it's a nice. You know what? As well received as that movie was initially, I remember when I first saw it, I wasn't that impressed with it. Like I just didn't find it that funny, but I've softened on it over the years. I
think I probably have the same opinion as you because it seems to be very highly regarded. When I was checking up like opinions on it, people seem to really like it. I thought it was an okay film. I think by the end, I was kind of into it. Emma Stone is just so charming in this movie. And when you see someone like the audition footage from the making of stuff, you can kind of see how she landed this role. And I think this was like her first real big role that really brought her to attention.
I think
the film itself is not so bad.
Right after Superbad, I think this one came out.
Yeah, but you know who's in this film? Is Joe from You.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And you know what? When he was younger, he really looked like a really young Henry Cavill. Oh. He really had that. He had the look of somebody who could be like a secret agent.
So I remember him from what was that damn show? I forget. I can't remember the one that Blake Lively used to do. So I remember him from there. So I guess in a skinny way, like a skinny Henry Cavill, I guess you could say.
Yeah, he did definitely have that look. I also I finished Space Force, right? That last episode was absolutely spectacular. And I don't mean spectacular like funny spectacular. I mean as in it was just a great piece of like science fiction. So essentially the Americans have launched a mission to establish a colony on the moon, and while they're like on the way to the moon, they realize the Chinese are already there and they've already got a habitat that's far more bigger and more ambitious than anything the Americans had envisioned. And before they land, the Chinese are like, yeah, we'd really appreciate if you don't land in this particular vicinity because we're doing like experimentation and we're claiming this. So there's this whole thing about you can't claim the moon, and the military want to take military action. The scientists are saying don't take action, and basically the military take over Space Force and essentially get the American astronauts to find any weapons that they have, like wrenches, things like that, to go over to the other side and sabotage the fuck out of their habitat, right? So they go and do that. They don't want to. They're ordered to do it. And by the time they get back, they realize the Chinese have just done the same
thing. Bloody hell. So you're saying, I know you like it, but I can't bring myself to watch any more of that show, though. I might just have to rely on your descriptions, man.
Yeah, I'm not entirely sure. I thought it is quite a clever show, so I can understand why some people might not like it. But it's not laugh out loud funny. But
that sneaky way
enjoyed
of giving a dig. It's too clever, Mo. Shut up.
I did check out after you spoke. After you mentioned it last week, I checked out the first episode of the Michael Jordan basketball thing, The Last Dance.
Do you get anything streaming in your background? Because I know I haven't. I don't think.
I've got nothing streaming. Oh, let me close the YouTube panel I've got open. I don't know if that's like. Let me just close as many. Is my audio breaking up?
Yeah.
I wonder. I know I was having performance issues when I realised my laptop was getting too hot because I had too many bloody things like on it. CPU is just sitting at 28. I mean, I could do a quick reboot if it's really bad.
No, you keep kind of phasing in and out of being good and bad, but no, we'll keep going.
Yeah. So I watched the first episode of The Last Dance. I haven't been back to watch anymore. I probably will. I will say that in that first episode, there were so many names and so many faces thrown at you that it was quite difficult to really remember who was who, why someone had beef with somebody else.
It lays it out in a pretty logical way there.
I can imagine how it would lose a lot of people after the first episode.
I don't think it did though, because everyone's loving it. I haven't heard any negative reviews for this.
So I might check out the next episode, but that'll probably have to go. It'll probably have to go into the queue now because last night I checked out the first episode of another show you recommended. The what was it? Upload. I think it's Google Chrome actually. Because I'm looking at my processes, and Chrome just seems to be like.
Chrome's a hog, man.
Let me just shut the whole thing down, and I'll just open up the document tab in a minute. And upload, So first episode, so basically a show about when you die, you get uploaded to like a computer simulation.
Yeah, you get. I was saying how even dying has become this corporate thing that they find a way to make money out of, and it's just like you're fucked, no matter what you do.
All the in-app purchases, right?
Yeah,
if you want something from like the minibar.
So crazy, so messed up, and you can kind of see it going that way. Like you think it's an inevitability 100 years from now.
Oh, absolutely. But I was having a think about this, right? And it almost became a case of essentially it's a copy of yourself, right? It's not actually you. So you kind of think, would you spend the money, like knowing that literally it's just your legacy lives on, but it's not really you. So why bother?
But people don't really think in those terms. You kind of just think your eyes closed and then your eyes open up, but it's not really you opening up. But you could say the same thing. I always thought about this, about teleportation. Like, it's not you on the other side. It's a copy of you that's been, like, you've died. You've been disintegrated in the machine. It's a different version of you on the other side. Like, you die every time you teleport.
But it's easier to imagine being your consciousness being uploaded into a virtual reality than it is to have a conversation about what happens to you if you're transported, because there is no real transportation technology.
True. That's true.
Yeah.
But does that mean that less people are going to do this? If this technology does exist, everyone's going to want to do it, regardless of the thought that it's them or not.
I did like how they do skirt upon the whole have and have nots kind of thing. And did you see, like, I think it was like in the family dinner scene at the beginning where the girlfriend goes, "Oh, I come from a Verizon household and we're like we're all on unlimited data
and
plans."
The data
on,
you inherit
on both
data,
sides.
you inherit data from your ancestors. Like, oh, the hell of it all. And I can see that go. Like, we joke about it, but I can see that one day being a thing. It really could be. Corporations get hold of this shit. It's nuts. But would you know? You got the money.
If I had the money, again, the whole question would be like, it's not really going to be me that's doing that. Why am I paying to do that? I could, like, if I had loads of money and I died, I should really leave it to like charities and science and research and stuff like that.
But would you though?
Nah.
Really? Fucking hell.
Yeah, because because it's not actually me.
So your relatives can't talk to you like because they can still communicate. People can, even when you're dead, you can still call someone.
I don't like talking to my relatives while I'm alive.
That is true. That is true. And I'm in the same boat. You kind of like, yeah. It's crazy. It's mad.
Yeah.
So,
why would you do it?
I don't know. Like, if I had the money for it, I guess. But then at the same time, you become a slave to all the other crap that happens on the other side. Like him being so tightly handcuffed to his fiance that he didn't even want to be his fiance. That is a nightmare in itself.
Yeah, that and it does seem like because obviously he's now dead. She's alive. She's still very young and very attractive, right?
Yeah.
What's the chances that she's going to meet somebody else?
Yep. And then what happens to him there? He gets shifted. Did you ever see? I'm not sure if it's in the first episode, but the people who can't afford to live in a place that he's in.
No, is that something that happens in later episodes?
It's probably
because you see the chick who works in that center. You see the life that she's living, like she's got a flatmate, and she's basically got a virtual headset on, watching a movie while in the bed right next to her flatmate's having sex.
No, but it shows the alternatives to people who don't have money and they die, but they had enough money to be digitized, but they ain't got the money to live in this luxurious. Yeah, it's not.
Oh, I tell you what, I did like. There was this whole bit about towards the end where he finds out that even though they've spent loads of money on Lakeview or whatever it's called, they still running at overcapacity, right? There's so many people there that, like, when there's loads of people around the pool, you can kind of see it start to glitch.
Glitches, yeah. And you don't even see everyone there. Like he was saying that the hotel is like some infinite level of floors where everyone is, and so head fuckery, man. So you got to keep watching it.
Is it worth preserving with?
Keep going with. I enjoyed it. I haven't finished it, but I've been.
Oh, you haven't finished it? Well, it's not that good. Then is it?
The problem with me, all this week, so I was hoping that you would have tons of things to watch because all I've watched is gameplay footage. I've just been in the headspace to just watch people play games. I don't know why.
Is this for our PS5 section at the end?
I don't know why. But all I want to do is watch people play Resident. It's because of freaking us reviewing the Dawn of the Dead on our bonus episode that'll be out this weekend. I've just been watching people play Resident Evil remakes and all these crazy things. I don't know why.
You should be watching other zombie films to help with the review for that. Obviously, that's now all gone.
But there aren't many good ones out there. There's a handful.
Hold on, isn't zombie like a whole genre in itself?
But most of them are terrible.
Really?
You got the comedy ones like Shaun of the Dead. That's great. World War Z was a gem.
Well, really?
Yeah. Have you never seen it?
Is it a bit like?
No. Have you never seen it?
Yeah, I have seen it. I saw it at the cinema.
No, it was actually because everyone expected it to be terrible because of all the delays, but it actually turned out to be a decent movie.
It was just like a run-of-the-mill action film with.
That's why it's taken a decade, almost 10 years for the sequel. Everyone wants the sequel. It was so successful.
Like Avatar, right? Everyone wants those sequels.
But it's $1 billion movie, so you kind of, I guess. You made your point, Mo. You made your point. So what else did you watch?
I think that is the lot. I mean, what's really still consuming all my time is Buffy and Angel. And I'm down to, I think the last 3 or 4 episodes of Buffy and obviously almost done season 4 of Angel. There's one more season of Angel left. It will be quite sad when this rewatch is over, because I don't know how you feel, but when you really get into a show and it's got like a whole, it's like a long running show, like 7 seasons, old school, 22 episodes a season. You really get suckered.
It becomes
into a whole. It becomes like a routine.
They're your friends.
Right?
They're your friends. You go and visit them every day for whatever amount of time.
Yeah. You're watching them at dinner time. You're watching them at when you go to bed, and you kind of you really get involved in it. I think that's something that's actually missing from these 8 to 10 season episode shows. Like you don't really get that whole I'm connection. There with them type of thing. Yeah.
I think that's why, as bad as the CW shows are right now, in general, not just the DC ones.
Yeah.
But I think that's why they're still the fans that there are so rabid, because those still run for the long haul.
Yeah, but it's
and people just connect with it even when they're bad.
You gotta have some quality though, right? I mean, at some point, 22 episodes of some really poor episodes is just torture.
They love them though. People love them.
one thing I wanted to ask you though is, I was browsing through my Amazon the other day, and I noticed they've got Roswell from like the early 2000s.
I watched it. I think I watched it for how many seasons on there?
I don't know how many seasons are on there, but I think the question I don't actually know if the show actually ran for that long, because the question I wanted to ask you was have you seen it?
Yeah, I did. I'm trying to remember how many seasons. Like, I definitely watched the first season, and maybe second one, but I think after that I kind of phased off of it. I can't remember how many seasons it ran for. I'm gonna have to look that up.
I'm just looking it up now.
I never, because it was similar. It was around a similar time to when Buffy was on, but I never connected to it the same way that I did with Buffy. It's not. It doesn't grip you the same way.
Oh crikey! So it started in '99. I didn't realize it was that old. It ran for 3 seasons.
Okay, yes. First 2 seasons, third one, nah. But yeah, there's even a reboot. I've never watched any of the reboot. But
yeah, I did see that. I've never seen that either.
I actually watched Charmed more than I watched Roswell.
I never ever got into Charmed.
Dude, just for frigging the actresses. What's the name? Yeah. Alyssa Milano. Just Alyssa purely Milano, for her and no.
Sharon Doherty.
Doherty, yeah. But Milano was my girl.
Yeah.
And that kept me watching.
Yeah, never watched. It just looked like a cheap Buffy knockoff.
It was. It was. That's exactly what it was. And I don't care because Alyssa Milano, that's all I need to justify why I watched it.
Yeah, I wonder if that's on any of the streaming services. Actually, you know what? While we're talking about streaming services, I found last night on my Android TV, I actually saw a review of this. They've now got an app called Real Good. And what Real Good does, I don't know how widely it's available. I don't know. I don't know if they've pulled it today or something, but I can't find it on my phone. But what it does is you browse the app, you tell it what services you have got. So I've got Amazon, I've got Netflix. It includes all the iPlayer and all that sort of stuff, right? It then presents to you a front end of all the shows that are popular, that are trending, and all that sort of stuff, and movies as well, right? So let's just say you find a film and you go, oh, I want to watch that. You click on it and it will tell you it's on this service. You click on it, it will actually open that app and start the film for you.
But you have to log in with those logins from those apps, though.
No. There's no. So you can create a login, but you don't have to give that app your other, because all it does is it's a shortcut launcher.
Okay.
But I really like the layout because it gives you the Rotten Tomatoes score, the IMDb score. It tells you the actors. You can then scroll to the actor. You can click on that.
What's it called?
It's called Real Good. REEL Good, all one word. You can even watch the trailer for the show or the movie. It's actually a really, really nice little front end, and it's quite similar to what Apple were trying to do with their Apple TV app.
It doesn't seem to be on it.
No, I wonder. I downloaded it on my Android TV last night on my Shield, so I wonder if it's on the Fire TV as well, because essentially they're almost like the same. But yeah, I mean, if you guys have got an Android TV, check out this app. The only problem with it is I think they haven't optimized it for the UK, because there was lots of things that were popping up. It would then open the Netflix app and it will say you can add this to like your shows or to your list, but it wasn't actually there. So I think it's pulling all the data from the US. So I think they might need some time to refine it and get it quite right. But I really like the concept of it.
Real Good streaming, but it doesn't seem to be.
Yeah, it's not streaming.
Not available in your country. Okay. So once again, they show no love to us foreigners. Dirty foreigners.
Dirty foreigner.
Yeah.
Right. Anyway, what have you been watching, Eddie?
I just told you. Streaming. That's all games. That's all I'll be watching.
Oh, is that all you've been doing? Is how much Resident Evil can you stream? Like 1 through to 7 or something.
Hours upon hours of content of gaming and Spider-Man, and it's just games. It's games.
Have you got like a games podcast on the go now as well?
I should do. I actually have a friend who wants to do that, but I can't add another one, man. My sanity can't handle another podcast. It's too much. It's too much. Yeah, it's too much. We need to go back to setting out specific shows that we watch and talk about each week, just to guarantee that I watch proper actors do stuff instead of just.
Well, we do that when there is like a tentpole show, right? There just isn't anything at the moment.
We need to pick something. We need to find something that we have to watch week to week until something good comes out.
But then is the rule for that a show that comes out on a weekly basis and not something that gets dropped all in one go?
Even if it's one go, if we can guarantee 2 episodes a week or 3.
Yeah, that's so difficult, right? Because when you get into a show, you just end up watching them all.
That is true. That is true. Can never hold back. I don't know. Anyway, let's get into this news, guys.
Should we get to the trailers first?
Oh, okay.
So there was a trailer that dropped this, I think, yesterday. You literally just watched it prior to us starting, and that's a Hulu original movie called Palm Springs.
I'm into it. I love Andy Samberg. I'm into it.
Really cool.
Feel
it
good.
Is very much. It does look like a bit of a chick flick, rom-com type thing.
No, it's got the rommy-commy side things to it, but just because it's a comedy that has a relationship between a man and a woman in it doesn't make it a chick flick. How dare you? How dare you? Let's make her watch it too.
Very reminiscent of the Bill Murray Groundhog Day, I thought, and a little bit of the Russian doll thing. So it's essentially a guy who's trapped in a time loop where it just repeats the same day over and over again, but somehow he managed to drag somebody else into it with him.
Yeah, because there was a bit right at the beginning when I think he got hurt somehow and he was crawling down a tunnel and he told her not to follow him, but she did. And then she got hit with a bright light. So there seems to be some sort of physical mechanic to their time loop thing, wherever it is. So I'm not sure whether they legitimately are trapped or by choice. I'm not sure. But it looks funny either way. I like it. It looks funny.
Does look great. Dropping July 10th, so not long to go. Hulu original, keep your eyes out for that. Looks really good.
Disney, listen, I know you're watching Disney. When are we 30 foreigners going to get Hulu in some form? I don't want to have to keep bootlegging this shit. I want to watch it properly at my fingertips.
Do you know what I mean? It's like we want to give you money. You don't want to take... This is Disney, or you're a money-making machine, or rather a money-taking machine.
Exactly. Give us this shit. Why? All of these things aren't tied up in licenses. You're choosing to do that. Come on, give it to us.
Exactly, yeah. Right, should we get to the news then?
What? You're not going to get into any other trailers?
Well, I think the only other one was Cursed, right? And
it was Cursed, and there was another one. Cursed fits into our Buffy talk that we were just getting into.
I don't know what to make of that because it just looked like some extended music video. They don't really show us let us know what the show is really about.
Yeah, it does. It's based on the comic book called Warrior Nun, and this girl has been selected
Warrior Nun.
Yeah, and this girl has been selected to become this Warrior Nun. She finds herself in this convent somewhere in the world, and she's like, "Why am I here?" And it's like, you're part of this coven of female nuns that are there to fight against forces of evil, these demon things that are on Earth, like with Buffy. And they put a halo in her back.
Yeah.
And it gives her these abilities and these powers to do all sorts of things. So it could be fun. It could be garbage, and it could be fun at the same time. So I don't know.
At least the concept sounds interesting. I mean, like from a production point of view, it looks nice, but I couldn't make out anything from the trailer other than they came to kill us all right at the beginning.
Yeah. And the new trailer for Train to Busan Peninsula.
Where do you say you didn't want to talk about it because it was the exact same trailer that's been out before?
Look, there was a few different bits and bobs in there.
Yeah.
But last time we spoke about it, I wasn't that keen because Train to Busan, what I liked about it, besides the whole, the confined space of zombies on a train, another good zombie movie, one of the few out there, but it was the fact that because it wasn't really about action, it was more about the characters and people turning on each other and this whole... I don't know, it's just smarter than just being straight kill zombies.
Yeah, I do think a lot of the good zombie films are the ones that actually almost ignore the zombies and concentrate really on the tension that it creates within your environment.
The fact that the heart of that movie was about this absentee father, or at least emotionally absentee to his daughter. And over the course of that movie, he breaks down and him and his daughter, develop a bond properly. But this looks like a completely different thing. I wouldn't be surprised if the main female is the daughter from Train to Busan. as an
did
adult.
wonder that.
Wouldn't
I
be
did
surprised.
wonder that because you see, it does look as though it's set a little bit in the future, right?
Yeah, the
Where
world looks obliterated by these
yeah,
zombies. And it just looks like a full-on action movie, which
yeah.
isn't bad in itself. If it was a completely separate thing, it looked good. Look, quality there, the production looked good, effects look cool. But it just doesn't look to have the same appeal that the original movie had. So I'm
Yeah, I
worried.
mean, action films are like 10 a penny, right?
But there are exceptions to that. The Alien franchise is the best example of that. Alien, psychological horror.
Yeah.
Aliens, full-on action movie, could argue better than the original for some people. Definitely could argue that.
I will probably have to invest. I think I've seen Aliens, but that was such a long time ago. I don't really remember it that well. What?
So you've never seen Alien?
You know what? I bought it last year. It was going for like $10 in 4K, so I have got it on my shelf to watch.
And you don't know whether you've seen Aliens?
No, I have seen Aliens. I saw it like in the early 90s, so it's such a long time ago. I can't really remember it. I can't actually see your expression because your video froze about 20 minutes ago. So you're still literally sitting like this.
I've got my hand over my mouth in shock that you're not. These movies should be part of your DNA, Mo.
No, like I said, I have seen Aliens. Yeah, I just don't remember it.
As a kid, yeah, exactly. This should be something that you digest as. Oh wow, yeah. We're gonna have to. We're gonna have to. That might have to be something we have to set out for next week there, to watch Alien and Aliens.
Alien and Aliens.
For next week's episode, Mo.
Yep.
I
can probably muster that.
We're gonna stick to that, guys. Yep. Mo is gonna review Alien and Aliens next week. Never before. We might as well say he's never seen either, because if he can't remember the second one, then you might as well say he hasn't never seen it.
I've seen it though.
I can't wait for that.
I've heard the third one is not worth watching though.
Nah. So I'll watch Peninsula. It could be fun.
I'll watch it. Hopefully, some of the magic from the first film is still in there. But you're absolutely right. They've just turned it into what looks like a mindless action film.
That's it. All right, let's get to the news.
Right, so let's speed through some of these. So I bet, Eddie, you've never really wished that you were like a rich, famous NBA player, right? But
of course not. Who would want that?
You may wish you were one now, because the NBA is about to resume business, and apparently all the players will be heading down to the Walt Disney World compound somewhere. Well, I don't know whether that's where they're training or whether they're just planning to do all the games from one location without the fans and stuff like that. But what the NBA players have been told, and their families, is as part of the entertainment that we provided, they will get to watch films that haven't even been released, including movies like Black Widow.
It's disgraceful. You reward arrogant. No, I'm not gonna say that. No, fuck it. No, I'm gonna say why. These people have everything. They have the world at their feet. They're rich. They're famous. Oh, we're gonna give them more shit, and they get to see movies before we do. Like, no, I'd be fine if it was like orphanages in the local area. We're allowed to. Little kids are allowed to watch these movies before they come out. No, we'll give rich and famous people that probably could find a way to get access to this stuff anyway. This ain't fair.
Is this like a marketing thing, right? Is this like to get the hype up that you suddenly start seeing? Do they sound a disclaimer that they're not allowed to send any spoilers, but they must hype it up on like their Twitter accounts or something?
Yeah.
How would you feel if how would you feel if they somehow spoiled the movie months in advance for you?
They probably will. They're sports stars. They are not intelligent individuals. Most of them are idiots because they never had to study in school because they were sports stars that had everything handed to them. So they're a retard. I'm sorry I have to say that. I know it's a taboo thing nowadays, but they literally are. Have you ever heard interviews of sports people talking? They're dumb ass. And then I hit the ball and then
So do you think that they're so dumb that they could possibly be confused by Black Widow? They're like, didn't she die in the last film?
Guaranteed. Guaranteed.
Or they were like, they didn't explain how she came back to life.
And they're going to give it away. They're going to give all the things away in their tweets because they think everyone got to see it because they did. And they said their families as well.
Yes, their families as well. Yeah,
because
you can't just say...
their bastard kids are going to go to school and brag about it and tell everybody what happened.
Well, there's no one's going to school at the moment.
They do Zoom classes and stuff.
They'll get the WhatsApp and the Xbox Live.
Yeah, and then their little TikTok fucking reviews of it.
Cool, blimey, the rage is coming out.
I hate rich people. They have enough. Leave something for the rest of us.
How rich does someone have to be before they go into the? Because there's probably obviously a certain level of rich where they're quite normal and then they suddenly hit the rich status.
Well, compared to how I live, if you own a car, you're rich. Pretty much.
I don't own a car. Although I'm thinking of buying one now.
Oh yeah, that'd be nice. It's time.
Yeah.
So let's move on from this horrible.
Right. So
news.
I think you called this last week, Eddie. I don't know whether it was a joke or whether you were being serious, but Netflix has now pulled, for some bizarre reason, because we'll go into this in a minute, an episode of It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia called Dee Reynolds: Shaping America's Youth. Do you know this episode? Because I quickly had to watch a clip earlier and read the synopsis.
Is this the one where she becomes a teacher?
So I don't know if this is the one where she becomes a teacher, but they are literally talking about blackface in this particular episode.
Yeah, that is the one, because she becomes a teacher.
Yep.
Persuaded into it because she's a failed actor, and a drama teacher said that, well, you're never going to play actress, might as well become a teacher. She begrudgingly does, and the guys in the bar convince her to bring the kids into the bar to watch Othello.
Right.
Because, culture, you'll be great. The kids will love it. And then once the kids come in, they end up playing exactly what we spoke about last time, Lethal Weapon 6 or 5.
So the clip that I saw was at the beginning, right, where they're talking. So it's Frank, Mac, and Charlie, and they're talking about refilming Lethal Weapon 5.
Yeah, this is exactly the episode we spoke about. This is exactly the one. And the kids are sitting there watching it, and you see them in blackface as
So I might need to dig this episode and watch the whole thing. But the scene that I saw, I thought was actually quite apt, and I think no one's actually watched the episode before pulling it, because they're actually talking about how bad it is to do blackface.
Yeah. That is, it's not something they gloss over.
No, exactly. And it's not, they're not taking the piss or anything. They're literally having a conversation about the whole idea of how offensive blackface actually is.
And even when it comes up on the screen and the kids are seeing it, they react like, "Oh, what's going on?" And the guys admit, "Oh, that probably wasn't a good idea."
Yeah.
And one of the kids, even the fatter kid, it was actually the kid who was the actor in that. What was that Clint Eastwood movie we reviewed a few weeks back, where he was the guy that was accused of the bombing?
Richard Jewell.
Yeah, that actor. He was one of the kids.
Oh, right.
Yeah, and he actually turns up to school the next day in blackface, and then gets called into the principal's office. So it's the whole. But they tackle it. They address it. I'm not offended by it. It was funny. They don't treat it like it's some way to take the piss.
Yeah.
But I guess corporations, man, Disney, they own FX, so.
So there now is apparently there's another blackface episode in a later season that is still available.
There is other Lethal Weapon episodes. I think there's the one where they shot it, maybe one of the ones. Like there's a few. Yeah.
It's just so. I can understand pulling stuff that people might deem offensive, but when it's an episode actually trying to have a conversation about a particular thing, it just seems. But I think you hit the nail on the head there, right? It's the fact that it's now probably a Disney-owned property.
Yeah, that's what you get, man. PC culture.
All that stuff just going into the vault.
Yeah. I'm happy downloading this.
Right. Absolutely. I think you weren't joking, right? Because I had a quick look on eBay. I wanted to pick up like the seasons that were at least on Blu-ray. All of the seasons were about 15 odd quid, but one seems to have jumped dramatically in price. I mean, by a lot. And I was like, that's the season that the episode's been pulled from.
Wow. Damn.
Right. So Warner have moved Tenant. So Tenant for the longest period, they were like, this is the date, and we're sticking to it. Then they've only moved it by 2 weeks, but what that has caused as a knock-on effect for Wonder Woman. So Wonder Woman is Warner's other big summer blockbuster. So in the original schedule, they would have been a month apart, right? With Tenet moving, that means they would have only been 2 weeks apart, meaning you can't really have your two big money makers like literally that close together. So Wonder Woman has now gone all the way back by 6 weeks into October.
You know what?
Yeah.
I think that should be the other way around. I think Tenet feels like a movie that should be in October, and Wonder Woman should be closer to summer.
So apparently, Warner Brothers actually wanted to move Tenet even further back because they don't think it will make
it won't.
They won't make money. However, apparently Christopher Nolan has so much of power over these films, or over his films at Warner, that he literally vetoed that and says, no, it's coming out, and it's coming out now.
Yeah, I don't get that because cinemas still aren't open. Not the amount that he needs, especially with AMC going into bankruptcy or whatever. They're losing so much money.
Well, I think that's the other thing, right? They need to open those cinemas because there is a danger that some of these chains may go under and never come back. And I think we've spoken about that. And apparently, a report came out of China saying they expect up to 40% of cinemas just to go bankrupt.
Yeah, but then I say that if they do decide to open up, there was a time where I was thinking, are people going to go? But we've seen that with just a tiny bit of easing of these social distancing yada people just the floodgates just spring open. You've seen the pictures of the beaches and people at bars and all of that.
They
don't care.
Did you read the link I sent earlier today? I think Cineworld has published when they reopen, these are the procedures you'll need to follow.
I saw the link, but I haven't actually gone into it yet. So they're going to separate the seats out like they.
Yeah, so apparently they've updated their software, so you can your family or your friends that you're going with can all sit together, but then you'll be set separate from other people.
That's actually wicked.
That's really nice, yeah. And they're trying to basically make everything contactless. You basically use the app instead of a printed out ticket or that kind of thing. I think they're trying to minimize contact, minimize touch, and all that sort of stuff. But I couldn't see anything about a face mask in there.
Yeah. They haven't really. I guess in some countries it's like a really pressure. Over here, it's not as. I know you can only go on public transport with a mask, but in general, it's not as heavily enforced. Really, the whole face mask thing.
I think in America it's starting to become a little bit more now, isn't it? Because I've seen stuff on the Young Turks where apparently people have been abused in a store for not wearing a mask. I've been told to get out and stuff.
Crazy. But yeah, I was on the bus the other day. I had to go see my mum's, and no one gave a shit. No one's one or two, but.
So I was wondering about that because they are saying you have to wear it now on a train or a bus.
Yeah.
But so I bought some a little while ago. I've got stashed in the kitchen somewhere, but I've not really been anywhere that's actually required one so far.
I was considering doing a little London trip the other day when everything opened, but I figured I'll leave it a while.
Yeah, I really want to go HMV. I really want to sort of browse
just
and
to
see.
Walk around.
Yeah, I just want to see because I would imagine there'll be lots of stuff on sale, right? Because they'll just want to get people in. Yeah. But you saw the queues, man.
That's why I wait for a while. Wait for the second wave to hit, everyone gets sick again, and then go when everything's nice and empty.
Just sticking with Nolan for a bit, I know this is a bit old news, but I only saw this myself yesterday, and I'm absolutely fascinated, right? So we all know Hollywood accounting is absolutely crazy, right? But generally, most people don't tend to get their big payout from a film until after a film has made its money, right?
Yeah.
But Nolan, who must have the best negotiation team in Hollywood. These guys should be handling the Brexit deal, right? He has negotiated 20% of the upfront money from Tenet. Not back end, front end. So regardless of whether this movie makes a profit, he gets 20%. So what that means is if this movie makes $1 billion,
it won't make
he gets $200 million.
It can't make $1 billion. That's impossible with the current situation. But then What was the sort of deal that Robert Downey Jr. made? Because he's made a ridiculous amount of money out of Marvel.
Yeah, but he wasn't it like 80 million over like all the films, right? That's over a 10-year span. So I'm not saying that's a small amount of money. That is a lot of wanga.
Yeah,
but like 20% from the front end.
That's what you get for being consistent in the movies you make, which not a lot of directors are. Because how many of his movies have crossed that billion mark?
I'd imagine most of them must have, right? Because
he's Knight was the first. I'm not Rises. I think got there as well. I think, even though it didn't deserve it, it wasn't as good.
Yeah.
Inception. I think that got. Oh, I don't have to look that up.
We'll have to look these up. I've actually, I'm about to go on a Nolan binge, right? So I got today, I saw on eBay, it was a really good price for a brand new 4K, all the Batman films. I've got The Prestige and Dunkirk on the way. I've already got Inception. So I might be doing a whole Nolan week or something.
Yeah, I've had the weird itch lately to watch Matrix movies. Not just the Matrix, even like the Animatrix and all this other shit. I don't know why. Itch. Might have to dig into that for the week.
Sometimes it's good to revisit the classics.
Yeah, man.
Right. So Dan Harmon, the Rick and Morty guy, right? I'm very worried about this. Has basically inked a direct deal at Fox Entertainment with a serious commitment for new animated comedy. And the reason I'm worried about this is the man can't even deliver Rick and Morty like on a regular schedule. He's going to look at making other shows.
Yeah, if you've ever listened to his podcast, Harmontown,
I have done a few times,
you know the sort of personality that he has. He's a very, I don't even know how to even describe, but he's very erratic.
Right.
Very erratic person. And his personality, like, not to the point of being like bipolar or anything, but he's a bit out there and self-destructive to a degree.
Yeah.
So the thought of him being able to handle that sort of schedule, the pressure from, because he's complained about the pressure from like Cartoon Network to give, to hand in the Rick and Morty shows on time. So with Fox as well.
Yeah, it's amazing, right? Because if you look at Seth MacFarlane, right, he seems to be like a well-oiled machine, right? Everything just comes in on time, year after year. They do Family Guy, they do American Dad.
He doesn't write it, though, does he?
No, but he's really involved in a lot of the stuff. He does the voices. He's like the showrunner. He's still really involved. He normally does a film like every other year or something.
Yeah, but the writing, though, that's the hardest part. Like, you have to come up with those ideas from nothing, reach into the ether and just pull them out. But Harmon is very creative, so I'm curious to see what he can create. But as long as it doesn't affect Morty.
Well, this is it, right? We don't really want to be waiting another 2 years for for season 5 or whatever it is. I think season 4's just resumed, but it's still, there don't seem to be many episodes in it.
No. Fingers crossed.
Right, so a couple of stories you put down here. So Lucasfilm is reportedly developing a slate of interconnected live-action Disney Plus Star Wars series. And I would say to that, no fucking shit.
Exactly. Hopefully, and I'm optimistic, these will be better than the movies. Like, I'm at the point now where I'm almost wanting to just turn my back on the movies, and this can be the new Star Wars universe here. I think that they're starting to learn the lessons from the mistakes of the first Mandalorian, even though it's generally well received. I think some of the way that they told that story, I think they're going to fix.
Yeah, I think I saw yesterday they announced that the Obi-Wan show apparently is going to use the exact same technology, and I think all the shows will now start using that. I think that's just going to be a thing that happens, and it's not even a proprietary technology. Apparently, it's an open, like, standard type thing. So anybody who wants to use it can use it.
Yeah, basically just have the money to build a studio with LED.
And that's a one-off. That's like a one-off cost, right? Yeah. And after that, your costs just go down because everything you want, you could do. And it's so convincing that, until we were told, we didn't even know that was all computer generated.
Yeah. Guys, if you're wondering what we're talking about, it's the way that Mandalorian did their effects, like their landscapes behind the actors and some of the indoor sets as well. It was all virtual, but not on not virtual in the way that it was green screen. It was virtual in that it was all just a digital screen that had the set playing on it in camera. Like, everyone could see it on set, so you could interact with it and see what was there. But it was so convincing and so photorealistic that it works.
Yeah. Oh, can you just imagine the possibilities that the cost of making sci-fi shows will just go so far down that suddenly like how when you make those shows, if you ever watch like the behind the scenes stuff, it's always a struggle to say, right, we have to make 22 episodes, but we've only got this much money and we've got to spread that across. So you have like those bottle shows. Some episodes are cheaper because then you can take that money and you can spend it on another episode. And it's become such a juggling act.
I'm just thinking all those episodes of Star Trek when every time they went to some alien planet, all it basically was move the boulder from here to here if that was on the other episode and change the filter on the camera just to make it a slightly different color. Now you don't have those problems.
They can do everything. Yeah. So kind of really looking forward to that. I mean, it makes so much sense, right? There's such a wealth of a universe there to exploit.
I'm curious to know what the other shows are going to be. So we know we've got Mandalorian. We know that we've got Obi-Wan coming.
You've got the Diego Luna one as well, right?
Yep, there's that. But there's that. I'm not sure the timeline of where that fits in, but there's that. Possibly, I wouldn't be surprised if Ahsoka ends up spinning off into her own show at somewhere or another. Yep. There's a whole bunch they could do, man. Love it.
They can do, yeah. And just staying with Star Wars for a minute. Apparently, I think it's like the 40th anniversary of The Empire Strikes Back this year. So to kickstart UK cinemas, for the first time ever, they're going to be showing a remastered 4K version of Empire Strikes Back in UK cinemas.
Yeah,
that'll tempt me to go. That will tempt me to go out.
That could be cool. That could be cool. Or they could just buy the rights to the fan edit Pulp Empire, which was the superior cut of the movie, in my opinion. I love that. It's where they crossed Empire Strikes Back with Quentin Tarantino movies and his filming, the editing techniques, mashed them together and made a masterpiece. Show me that in the cinema.
So, Kristen Stewart will play Princess Diana in a new film titled Spencer.
What the fuck? This is going to be terrible.
Hold on. When you say Princess Diana, I think I've just realised you mean actual Princess Diana, don't you?
Yeah.
I was reading that this morning and I was thinking, does he mean like Wonder Woman?
Nope.
No, it's just dropped now.
Queen of Hearts, Diana.
Kristen Stewart.
Yes. That's why this is going to be fucking horrible. Like, Kristen Stewart can be good in little indie projects. She has been. But her acting style is the same in everything she's in. She doesn't transform necessarily in her roles. So I can't see the way that she acts, even with an English accent, how that's going to work to play Princess fucking Diana. And it's only a story. It would be cool if it was some like twist on her life and it was going to be like seeing the dark side of the royal family trying to get her killed and maybe some mad twist on it to show, that she was some hidden Illuminati plot to get her killed or some shit. But no, it's just a weekend of her life over Christmas vacation when she left.
Okay, what's Spencer?
That's her name, her real name.
Oh, it is her name, isn't it? Yeah. Right. I was like, okay, right. I did think that's what it was, but I was like, I wasn't quite sure.
Yeah. So it's just her leaving Charles and just moaning about it for 2 hours.
Right. Are you looking forward to that then, are you?
Oh, yeah. Just can't wait. Can't wait.
The director of Attack the Block, Joe Cornish, has met with John Boyega about a sequel.
Have you seen Attack the Block?
I have seen Attack of the Block. I wish I hadn't. I don't really enjoy it.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow, you're one of those.
I did not like it.
That may be one that you need to revisit more, because I'm seeing this pattern here of these movies that you watched, hated, what we watch again now after this influence of me and Simon has slowly seeped into your brain, and you seem to be more accepting of these.
I can't remember why I didn't like it, and I can't remember if I just found it was just a little bit too much. The way the characters acted and yelled and screamed and ran around. I'm more than happy to give it another watch, because literally all I remember is was there like a sci-fi based thing in this as well? Were they like up against
alien invasion? Yeah.
Yeah, they were up against aliens, right?
These kids found an alien and one of them had them in the backpack. Yeah, it was it was a lot of fun. It was crazy. And that was Boyega's first movie. That was his big break. Yeah. So the thought that they said that they've had ideas for years, and they met like a few months ago to talk about it, and they're into it. So I'm fascinated to see where this can go.
So you're looking forward to that, then, are you?
I am.
So let me propose another idea to you that I saw the other day, where they're talking about it. Nothing's been greenlit or anything, but do you remember The Wedding Crashers?
I do.
They want to do a sequel to that where the two protagonists are like now in like their mid-40s.
What, they already in their mid-40s? I swear they're already in their mid-40s in the first one.
Yeah. They probably were, right? The actual actors themselves. But the characters now are in their mid-40s and they're still crashing weddings.
I don't know. I don't know if this is as fun. Because both of those guys are kind of, I'm not going to say washed up, but they're not really the comedy powerhouses they were like a
they
decade
absolutely
or so
are,
ago.
right? They I think you're absolutely right. Their careers really have waned, especially Owen. Is it Luke Owen? No.
Yeah.
What's it?
No.
Yeah, he's no, Luke Owen's not the right name. Owen Wilson.
Owen Wilson, yeah, that's right.
Yeah, he's because he was in everything for a while, and now he really does seem to
Yeah.
have disappeared. And I don't know whether that's out of choice or he just hasn't had many hits.
Both. I know he had some depression issues a while ago when
Yeah.
there was a suicide attempt or something when he broke up with some actress, but who knows? But maybe if it was like a Netflix movie or something, I'd watch it, but bigger than that, I don't think so.
Oh, rightio. That brings us to the end of this week's news.
Boom! That was it.
That's it.
I was going to come up with a list of gaming stuff we could talk about, but I completely forgot, to be honest.
Well, I mean, you've now had like a week to process like PS5.
Yeah, but I'm just watching Pacific games. Some of these games are still on PS4, half of them.
Right. So I wanted to ask you a question, actually. Right. So there is now a rumor from a pulled Amazon listing that basically had the digital edition at $3.99 and the disc edition at $4.99.
Ooh.
Do either of those propositions feel compelling to you?
That is the price I expected them to be at.
But is that enough for you? Like, because you seem like you're itching to get a gaming console.
I have been, and I probably would go for the disc one purely because I'm presuming you can play the 4K Blu-rays on there.
Yes, yeah. So that does have a 4K Blu-ray drive in it.
So that's an added interest for me that I would like to get some of those. So yeah, I'd be into that definitely.
The great thing about 4K Blu-ray is it's region free as well. There's no like locking system.
But do we know? Have they announced yet whether old games like with the Xbox One, whether they're going to be backwards compatible?
Right. So that's all really still ambiguous, right? But I've watched like quite a few YouTubers this week, and Adam Kralik is like one of my favorites. He did a whole, like, if you've never heard of him, go check out his YouTube channel. He did this amazing recap of every single console generation, like in real like half-hour videos. It's absolutely fantastic. I remember losing a whole weekend when I discovered his channel, and he made a really interesting point. Right, he basically said that if you really think about it, the fact that there is a model that has no disk drive really means that PS1, PS2, PS3 just ain't happening.
True.
Because it's just not going to happen, right? True. PS4, obviously, like if you've got PS4 digital games, you'll be able to play them. And if you've got the PS4 disc, you can obviously run the disc in the console, and you might get like a patch that like upgrades it to like 4K or maybe like makes the textures better resolution or whatever, increases the frame rate. But he goes, I think with the fact that they've said nothing about PS1, 2, and 3, he goes, literally tells you they're not planning to do it, which is such a shame because I really want to play the fucking SSX games again. SSX and SSX Tricky and SSX 3.
I did love them at the time, but you reckon those things have aged well?
Because... no, I still reckon they are a hell of a lot of fun to play.
Yeah. Oh, then you're just going to have to go get an Xbox then instead.
Oh, no, I was tempted, but then I was like, I'd really want to buy like an Xbox X, but it's just so expensive for like one game.
That is true. What has they announced the price on that one yet?
So no official pricing has been announced. They're playing cat and mouse here, right? Neither company wants to go first because essentially once you go, the other company just makes a calculated decision. Now Microsoft are a far bigger company than Sony, right? So if they really wanted, they could undercut Sony. They could lose money. But I think the problem that you really have now, generation after generation, Sony seem to have like all these real big exclusive games that you can't play anywhere else, and Xbox just doesn't. So you really have to wonder where is Xbox in the game?
Yeah.
How dedicated are they to this, to like the gaming scene?
Definitely, this is definitely their last machine. I don't think they can hang on past this.
Yeah, people were speculating that the last one was going to be the last one, but they seem to have still come out the gates. They still in it. It's it's if you look at the rest of Microsoft, like Xbox is just a blip, like on their bottom line.
Yeah, it's true.
But investors don't like to lose money, right? So at some point, investors are going to say, "You've got to like sell this company, or you've got to get rid of it."
So you're definitely going for PS5 then?
Well, well, it all really depends, right? Because really, all I want to do is play Street Fighter, and I guess I'm tied into PlayStation, right? Because if I want to carry my Street Fighter 5 over to the new console, it's going to have to be a PlayStation, right?
That's true.
Especially considering all the characters I bought, the backgrounds that I bought, the costumes.
This is a guy, he has most of these consoles out there, sitting there, but Street Fighter is the one game that he consistently plays. How much do you even play your Nintendo much?
Oh, I played my Nintendo. I haven't actually played it much during lockdown, but like I could sink hours and hours into like Mario and the Zelda games.
I was going to buy a Switch before all of this.
Yeah.
And then lockdown happened, and then they just disappeared. You couldn't buy them anywhere. But I was looking up to see, what games could I buy if I wanted to get one, because I did see there were some available, and there just isn't enough that games I care about. Not compared to like a PlayStation. Like there's so much PlayStation stuff I want to play.
I guess it depends what sort of games. I mean, to me, the games library on the Switch is just the thing that I love about it, right? It's got like Breath of the Wild. I think that's the best game of like the last decade. It's the first game I've sunk 145 hours into since like the mid-90s. It's got like a little counter. It tells you like how long you've been playing it. But I could put that on at lunchtime on a Saturday. And I would be still playing at like 5, 6 o'clock in the evening.
It's crazy. Like you can do that with that game, but you can't do it with like other bigger story games with better graphics.
Because there's no real story in the Zelda game. It was just more about this whole land that they've got, and it was just like exploring it, and it was just done in such a way that you just wanted to find the shrines and do the puzzles inside the shrines. And there was like 120 shrines or something in the game. And I think I ended up finding like 100 of them.
Damn. Yeah, for the most part with Nintendo games, it's just all like the Mario, the cutesy games, and
they're not really. They may look kidsy. They are certainly not kiddie games to play. They are absolutely like great games to play.
Don't get me wrong. I loved Mario when I was younger. Like I had the Game Boy, all of that. But I don't know. At this point, platformers drive me to the point of murder. I just can't deal with the frustration of those games. So I just can't go back to that. I won't go back to those painful memories of having the Game Boy when you couldn't save a game and either the battery runs out or you die and you can't save. And just that pain of screaming and the torment of putting all those hours into that game and getting killed by a mushroom or something.
Life is pain.
That's why Mario's death sound is at the end of this podcast all the time. If you listen to the audio version, that is why, because it's just tormenting me that I have to have it. Just show the end.
One thing I will say about PlayStation though is I've seen some mock-ups where people have made it black, and I think the black version just looks so much nicer.
Ooh. Yeah, the white one does look like it could be a bit of a.
It's an odd thing to do a white console, right? Because it's got to sit like in your AV rack, like and it's not aesthetically pleasing at that point.
Nah, unless you've got white walls. You got white walls.
I've got white walls, but like everything in my rack is like black.
Yeah, not sure. But maybe they just want to make it different. It wants to stand out. So when you walk in and you see all these black consoles and that one white one, it's like, ooh.
Yeah, see, you say that as a single guy, right? Once you've got like a wife or something, it should be like, oh, what's that? That's an eyesore. Why is that sticking out there?
Have you seen? I saw a chart of all of them all the consoles sitting next to each other. And they had that one. It is massive.
But the thing to keep into mind, right? The guy who's done that has based that on the dimensions of the disc tray. So we actually don't know if but we don't know if that's the actual scale of the console, right? Because essentially, what we've seen.
Mathematics don't lie. You judge the size of the disc tray. Use the math. You see the whatever the fuck of it all. But all we've seen are CGI renders, right? We haven't actually seen the real thing, so we don't know
in the trailers, those CGI renders, whether they actually done them to scale.
Oh, come on. These people aren't amateurs. Why would they mess up the scale of that with a disc drive for the whole thing?
It's not about mess up the scale, because they didn't really think anyone was going to sit there and make a chart to show the size of it.
They were doing it with the Xbox One. I remember seeing people were literally doing it the same day when they made the visual announcements. People
CGI artists, the people who do this, probably don't even have an interest in looking at all that other stuff, right?
Jeez. But yeah, so what are you looking forward to? Is there even going to be another Street Fighter? Because what are you looking forward to in the next generation?
Oh, there will be a Street Fighter 6. Like, you know, it's like it's not the biggest game that Capcom do anymore, but it certainly is one of those. It's a money maker because people essentially drop money on characters and costumes and backgrounds and stuff like that.
I'd like to see the numbers on that.
It's well, I mean, the fact that they still support, they're doing another 5th season, right? So the game's going. In the 6th year, they'll be doing another season, so they're continuing. So you wouldn't support a game that was dead.
Yeah.
You know, if people weren't buying it, you wouldn't put the resources into doing it. So we know the fact that people are still spending money on the game. I would like to see a 6. I would like to see a new gameplay mechanic. They always do this sort of thing. I don't know what they would do to differentiate it. That's the thing that I would buy. But I am actually quite genuinely, like, the whole PlayStation 4, Xbox One launch just passed me by. I just wasn't interested. The leap in graphics, because the fact that this will be the first generation where they're actually pushing 4K as an actual thing. The fact that I have a 4K TV and HDR, I'm really interested in seeing what the leap is like. And I had a look at that Ratchet & Clank trailer again, and it just looks so amazing. And one of the trailers that I saw where they were talking over it, one of the things I hadn't even noticed was the fact that, because it's all on SSD now, they're jumping from one world to the other and there's no loading.
Yeah, that's crazy. So crazy. I can't wait. But what's the date on these things? It's like the fall or early next year?
It's gonna be, well, if they're launching this year, it's gonna be November, right? It's gonna be like literally that just prior to Thanksgiving and Christmas.
And should they? Are they gonna take a hit from all of what's going on in the world? Or?
It's really tough. I would be really interested to know what conversations are happening internally, right? Because manufacturing a new console is always hard, right? They're always in short supply. That's a given. So it's going to be even more short supply.
And China's gotten hit again with COVID. There's a whole new freaking cluster breakout.
Yeah,
so
exactly. And we don't know what the economy will be like, right? How many people are realistically at that point going to be able to drop $500 and then some more on games on a new console?
Dude, the amount of people unemployed right now, especially around the world, crazy. I don't know. Guess we'll find out, guys. Let us know what you think. We might even do this regular every week. This little segment right at the end of the show where we just talk gaming. Why not? So Mo, how can they get in contact with us if they want to do so?
Folks, if you want to email us, we are at tatmpodcast@gmail.com. If you want to tweet us, we are at TalkingMovies3. And if you want to follow us on Instagram, we are Talking in the Movies.
We got 1-2 emails. We're going to catch up with those next week. We're going to sign out for now. It's been going for longer than we expected, like an hour longer, to be honest. It always happens.
It doesn't matter how much news there is, Eddie. We always talk.
It's crazy. So anyway, from me, Eddie Race.
Me, Mo.
See you guys next week. Era.